the live podcast, Don't Wait to Be Great. I'm your host, Mr. Derek Forston. I'm Mr. ILF. And our job every day, every week, every 3 days a week, especially Monday, Tuesday, and Saturday, we teach you guys how to start your own housing program without the need for a license, staff, or all those crazy state requirements. So again, if you love God, love people, and love real estate, you're in the right place, because we're going to show you guys a model that we truly love and believe in, and it's called independent living facilities.
Absolutely.
And that's just simply a shared environment where adults are able to live and thrive without the need for staff and or medical oversight. So as you see the shirt that I'm wearing, I'm the founder and thought leader of Second Chance Housing. And that's where we create pathways out of homelessness. And guess what, guys? I didn't need a license to do it. I didn't have to buy a property to do it. And I didn't need any state requirements to get permission to help people from homeless to hopeful. So we're excited about that. And I promised God over 7-8 years ago that, God, if you let me get in this and it changed my life, I'll go all over the world teaching it. And a part of that is right here on this YouTube channel. So Shay, tell the people who you are and what you do.
Hello and good morning. Happy Saturday. And yes, I am Shanye Shea Forston, the proud founder of the Angela Denise Foundation on this happy nonprofit organization day. So again, a lot about what we do is exactly what you do, Derek. I house individuals and take them from homeless to hopeful, utilizing the shared living model, which is what we've coined the ILF model. So I do that, and I house women that have been through all sorts of different situations, whether it's homelessness, addiction disorders, so many different avenues, right? That I've been able to facilitate change within my housing program. So I'm excited about today's room, about today's live session, and I look forward to hearing and answering any questions. Let us know if you can hear us and see us well. I am restreaming, and again, I'm excited.
Good stuff. So guys, if you're brand new to us, we love new people, and we want to know that really in like 2 ways. We want you to type it below, but also because we got a free gift that we want to give you all, we want you to text the word new, NEW, to 407-326-0086. And we got a gift that we want to give you, and that's just to say thank you for being here, because you got a lot of choices of where you could have been today. But the fact that you chose to be here, we super appreciate that. So I'm scrolling right now at the bottom of the screen, that phone number. Again, if you just text the word new to 407-326-0086, you get that free gift.
Yeah.
Also, if you're new to us and you've never seen our introductory webinar, you get that by using that same phone number, but you're going to text the phrase more info. So we have our systems automated. We talk about that every Tuesday, because if you're running a housing program, you also need an automated system that does a lot of things for you while you're busy. So again, if you're completely new to us and you want more information on what this is that we'll be talking about today, because I'm going to treat you guys like family, we're just going to jump right into a bunch of information. But if you're new to this concept, I want you guys to watch that webinar when we're done today, or with your family or business partner maybe later on today. And again, all you got to do is text the phrase more info. That's it. Don't add nothing else. MOREINFO. And that's going to get you our webinar. And what I'm excited about, that it also gets you a free discovery call. So after you watch that webinar, you're also going to be able to speak to us to literally talk about how can we get you started in terms of where you live at. So again, don't forget that instruction. Text the word new and text the word also more info to that same number, and we're going to get you all the information
100%.
that you need.
Do me a favor. Can you do me a favor? Let's go to a quick commercial break.
Sure.
Because I'm having some lag and I'm looking at my different screens and I'm not seeing some stuff. So let's go to a commercial break.
Got it.
We'll be right back.
Also, before we do that commercial break, I want to make sure that you guys can also hear us. So just to do a quick mic check, give me 3 people that say, I can hear you guys loud and clear. Yep, and I see one already. So as Shay said, I'm going to go to a quick commercial break and we'll be right back. If you've ever imagined of starting your own housing program, there is no reason that after we're done here tonight that you shouldn't go to forstonconsultants.com/webinars and watch the webinar, guys, because a lot of you have wanted to start a group home or traditional assisted living facility, but that stuff takes license. It takes a lot of time to open. There's a lot of red tape to jump through. You have to ask for permission. We teach you guys how to open an ILF, an independent living facility, where you can house the homeless, displaced adults, or anybody that has a guaranteed income, and it doesn't require a license, and you don't have to own the property. make sure you watch that free webinar at forstonconsultants.com/webinars, and then set up a free strategy call so that me and my team can get you started. Let's get back to the show. All right, so let's
we
jump
are
right
back.
into
Let's
it.
go.
So Shay, I don't think I've seen anybody in the chat that said that they renewed. I'm not sure if anything came through the system. Let me
I
check.
did
Yep,
see one. We did have
I
one.
do see it now. So also put in the chat, and this is for everybody, put in the chat where you're located. We do a lot of networking in here.
Absolutely.
Right? So go ahead and put in the chat what city and state you're located in, or go ahead and speak in faith of that, what city and state where your first ILF or your shared housing program will be in, right? So we're going to do that. And then again, I'm going to go over really quickly what the ILF is, because I never take for granted that people just know what an ILF is.
Right.
And then I got 6 specific points that I want to give you all. So make sure you guys stay to the very end, because we got some special announcements. But Shay and I have 6 different points that we want to kind of bring out and talk about. And like I said, for most of you guys are always around us, and you're kind of used to this. So we're going to jump right in. But for anybody that's new to us, that has no clue what these ILFs are, my job is to make sure that you guys understand it before we get too deep in it. So again, an ILF, guys, just simply stands for an independent living facility. And that is just simple, guys, an environment where adults are able to live and thrive without the need for staff and or medical oversight. So one more time, this is very different from a traditional group home, Shay. This is not an ALF. This is not an IDD. This is not a traditional group home. This is not an APD.
Right.
Everything that I just named, guys, requires a license for you to do it. And you have to get permission from your state, your city. There's oversight from DCF and ACA and all of these different entities, right? But guys, what is so powerful about the ILF model is that you can house people in exactly what you see on this screen without all of that. And remember, the ILF, the first letter in the ILF is the I, which stands for what, Shay?
Independent.
And they must be
Gotta
what?
be independent.
And what does independent mean?
Be able to live, thrive, and do well. Not just do well. We want them to thrive, be able to facilitate things, and be able to even be able to advocate for themselves, right? So that is being independent. Although we do have some people that not really have dependencies, but need some guidance. So we do allow people that are receiving services to reside in our ILFs.
Absolutely. So that also means that, because we get this question all the time, Shay, well, can my guy have a wheelchair? Absolutely. I have people that have wheelchairs, but they're independent, which means, and I jokingly say this all the time, but this is my best way to explain it. Independent means to me, Shay, that they can cook their own bologna sandwich. Shay, they can go in the refrigerator, get a piece of ham and bologna, put it on some bread. If they want to fry it on both sides with some butter or some oil, have it. But Shay, they don't need me to cook their ham sandwich. Shay, they can take their own medications without the need for a nurse, a CNA, or LPN. Shay, I want people that can say, Derek, I take my meds at 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 9 o'clock at night. And I know what each one of those are. These are the people that we're housing, guys. And last but not least, Shay and I and you guys are too busy to be driving people around, so we don't provide transportation. These are the 3 things that can get you guys in trouble. And if you're taking notes today, like a lot of you all do, just write that down, right? Derek said that here are the 3 things that will get me in trouble, and here are the 3 things that allow me to do this without a license. If you're serving people that are independent, they can cook their own food, number 1. People that can take their own medications without assistance, number 2. And people that can arrange their own transportation, Shane, I don't care if that's the Uber guy, the Lyft, their insurance company, or they can call their friend that they grew up with in high school to come pick them up. Doesn't matter to me, guys. The only point that we want to get to you is that you all are not to be providing transportation. And that's what allows you guys to scale and grow this thing
exactly.
So
because if you start, so real quick, I know you've got a whole amount of stuff you want to talk about. But what I want to talk about is the reason why those, like being able to add those or adding those extra services to what people do. Why does that cause an issue? Like, prime example, if we start transporting people, if we start feeding people, like what issues, like what issues can that cause? And I think people need to hear it from a different perspective.
There's a lot of liability in it too, right? We like to introduce a model of housing, guys, that removes most of the liability for you. I just want you guys to be responsible for the roof over their heads. You keep the lights on, the water on, and that
Right.
gas running,
Yes.
because you're serving people that don't need your help with anything else. That's the beauty of this,
Yeah.
guys. And not that, Shay, I have anything against an ALF or a traditional group home.
Right.
It's just that most people don't have the patience or the wherewithal of
Yeah.
where to start, and it just takes so long. We call the ILF model the right now model, Shay. You
Correct.
can start this right
Correct.
now.
Yeah.
Am I wrong about that?
No, you're not wrong at
Okay.
all.
Back on you, Shay.
No, I just wanted to see, and you answered it. So go for it. Let's keep diving in.
Good stuff. So I'm seeing a lot of people text that word new, and I love
Yeah,
this.
we
That
are
means you're
getting a lot
new
of
to
text.
us, and we love it. So if you guys got questions, you don't know us yet, but that's what we thrive off of. We love the fact that when people ask questions, because remember, not that I like y'all so much, and I do.
You know
But I
what?
made a promise to God over 8 years ago. I said, God, if you make this work for me, I'll go all over the world sharing this word, and I'll never take any credit. So watch me do this again. God, I take no credit for what you've given me.
Right.
And
Yeah.
thank you for allowing me to speak into the lives of these people.
Yeah.
So again, if you're new, congratulations, because a lot of people have hid this from you. A lot of you all in these groups that don't share it, they don't teach it.
Listen, don't
So
even go there.
again, if you're gonna notice anything about me in the next 15 minutes, and if you ain't caught it already, we love to teach. And I love to run my big mouth about what this is, because I promise God that if he let me get in it
Yeah.
and leave my job.
Yeah.
Because I saw a lady making 41 grand a month housing people in rats and roaches.
You don't have to remind
So,
me. I was there.
right, Shay. So for my new people, my whole story, and the reason why I want you guys to watch that introductory webinar, because it breaks it all down. I'm just treating you guys like family today.
Yeah.
But that webinar that you get by following that instruction that you see scrolling at the bottom of your screen, I want all of y'all to do that. So at some point, just text the phrase "more info" to that phone number 407-326-0086. And then at your leisure, you can watch that with you and your family. And that breaks it all the way down. But it also explains where this whole vision came from. I'm not the smartest guy in the classroom. I just saw something that was real bad, y'all, and I put my own spin on it. God showed me a lady that was making 41 grand a month, y'all, housing people in rats and roaches and in squalor. The devil is a liar. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my God. This lady made 41 grand a month.
Like this.
She won't teach it to me. And she housing people with beds on the floor, rats and roaches running in and out of the cabinets, and mistreating people. And y'all, she was still making
It was
41
bad.
grand a month.
Like, people don't realize the significance of that story when you tell it, right?
Shay,
and I think,
wow.
But I think a lot of people are now also seeing or hearing the same story.
Yeah.
Right. No matter what city or state they're living in,
Put a number
they're
7
finding
in
that
the
same
chat.
thing.
In fact, if you've heard of some of these same conditions, and I'm gonna give it back to Shay, but put a number 7 in the chat if you've heard of some of these same conditions of people housing people in squalor, housing people in a bad way, bad conditions. Like, just put a number 7 in the chat, or am I the only one, Siobhan?
I honestly, I doubt that you are the only one, Derek. I mean, think about some of the even when it comes to case managers and social workers, they're avoiding sending residents out to different places because of the aesthetics, right? Or the limited access to being even able to go into these places to verify.
Right.
And I think that's probably one of the biggest things that we've seen since we've entered into this spaces are the liberty that case managers and social workers have to provide services within our ILFs, to be able to meet with their residents, meet with their clients, and do their sessions at the location and feel safe and secure, right? So I think that's probably one of the biggest things. I know that the layperson or those that don't even really understand, like I didn't at first, but there's a significant stigma to housing models like this. People assume because it's shared living that it's squalor, that it's a mess, that it's all sorts of things that it's not. And that's something that we've got to kind of transform what that sounds and looks like. And that's what we've been doing.
Yep. And as a social worker, guys, and a lot of you have seen this, but some of the things that we talk about all the time, like these are some of the places that I walked into, guys, where the kitchen was burnt up and people still living there and cooking in it. Beds are on the ground with no sheets, no pillows, no comforters.
Terrible.
Like, this is not what we're doing, guys. And again, why would you do this and you make $41,000 a month? Guys, I was a social worker making $28,000 a year. when this vision was given and shown to me, y'all. So that's what I tell you guys, man. I started as a social worker and wanting to do this just like most of y'all. But people was hiding it from me, didn't want to share it. So I went through the bumps and the bruises and all the mistakes to get this thing just right. But look again how the beds are on the floor. Look at how these beds are on cinder blocks. Guys, this is not how we do this. And again, somebody, three of y'all type in the word why. Why would you do this to people and you making $41,000 a month? And you're gonna notice when you hang around us long enough, we don't talk about the money a lot because money follows ministry.
Yeah.
Money follows mastery. But when you're seeing people that are being mistreated and they're making 41 grand a month, we gotta talk about it, Shay.
We do. Again, and what people don't realize is that, you know, they're gonna have to account for the way they're doing to what they're doing to these individuals.
These are God's people.
Yeah. Bottom line, like that's it. Like they're gonna have to give an account. So I mean, if you're interested in this model and this is something that you are already doing, just be mindful that, you know, you will have to give an account one day.
Yeah.
You know, so just make sure you're doing it right and with the right heart.
Absolutely.
And right intentions.
And like we always tell you guys, we have one-on-one coaching. We have a ILF Academy. So make sure that you guys join our free Facebook group, guys.
Yes.
It's called the ILF Academy. It is very new, and a lot of you all have been joining that. So thank y'all so much. It's growing really fast. This is the fastest group that we've grown with anything that we've built, including Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Like literally 20, 30 people are joining this group a day.
That's pretty.
And I'll admit, for us, that's fast, right? I know some people got groups and, 1,500 people join a day. But for us, that is a lot of people. Yeah. So in less than probably 90 days, there's probably over 400 people in that group.
Yep.
It's an absolute free group. So in fact, if you can multitask, just go ahead and do that now. Join the free Facebook group, guys. It's called the ILF Academy. We also go in there and drop a lot of gems. We do a lot of teaching in there.
We do some lives.
Actual questions. We do lives in there. Some of the lives are so good, I'll admit it. If you didn't make it and we went live, we erased it.
Yes.
So 98% of the time I leave those rooms. I never do that. But some of that stuff was just so juicy, so good. And I gave a lot of deals and sales and discounts and scholarships. We actually had to erase it once we met that number. But you guys absolutely want to join the ILF Academy. Definitely. And again, don't sit in this room all day today, right? And don't ask your questions. As I told you all, we absolutely thrive off of questions, and we want you guys to ask anything that you want pretty much in this room, because our job is to make sure that you have the understanding of it. Most people find us on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. Then they eventually watch that webinar that I keep telling y'all about. We talk to them on the phone, and then they decide from there whether they want the one-on-one coaching, whether they'll do some kind of a group coaching, or just keep coming to our free stuff every Monday, Tuesday, and Saturday. Because don't forget, guys, I made a promise to God. So if y'all never bought a thing from us, every Monday, Tuesday, and Saturday, we come here live to answer all your questions and to pour back into the people. Because my dream is to see all of y'all one day leave your job, resign from your job, and do something that's more meaningful by doing this. But for a lot of you all, remember, I still want you to keep your job for as long as you can, and you leverage them both.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, everybody? So again, we're talking about a shared living environment today. We've coined the phrase independent living facility, but we always tell y'all we don't mind what you call it, right? It can be shared living, communal living, co-living. Just most important, guys, it doesn't require a license. You don't have to buy the property.
Correct.
And again, you don't have to pretend to be a nurse and get yourself in trouble. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. You guys come right back. Share this room with somebody that loves God, loves people, and loves real estate. And we'll be right back and talk about how Shay does this from a nonprofit standpoint. And then we're going to jump into the 7 points that I want to cover today before we get you guys out of here.
Let's do it.
Hey, what's going on, family? Just to let you know really quick, everything that you're listening to right now, I actually have it in a more structured way in a webinar. So when you guys get done here, go to forsterconsultants.com, click the tab that says webinars, and there's 2 webinars there. One is for you to be the actual ILF operator, meaning that you want to do it. And then the other one is the HRA. That stands for Housing Referral Agency, where you're able to take people from homeless to hopeful, and you actually don't need the real estate. It stands for a Housing Referral Agency, and we call it a business in a box. But definitely go to forsterconsultants.com, watch both of those webinars, then set up a free strategy call with me and my team, and let's see how we can get you started. Back to the show. into it.
We
We're
are
back.
back. We are
So,
back.
Shay, before we jump into those 7 points, there's a lot of people that told me that they would be joining us today, and they want to do this from a nonprofit standpoint. Big shout out to Miss Tiffany Richardson. If she's on here live
Listen,
with us, we had a long call yesterday. She's also going nonprofit. She's in
she is
Jacksonville.
nonprofit
But right,
already. Yeah,
exactly.
she
So
is
Shay, I want
nonprofit.
you to talk about it. Shay, is there any difference in being a nonprofit, and what are your experience doing this under a nonprofit instead of like me as I'm for profit?
So organizational setup is different.
Okay.
So my organization is set up with a governing board, a board of directors. So again, a lot of what we implement and what we do is brought before that board to help facilitate what it looks like, right?
Okay.
So that's one of the differences between the nonprofit and the for-profit running of a ILF, or the independent living facility. For you, the independent living facility model is your means to make income, right? Um, in the nonprofit, that is a part of my program. Although income comes in, yes, it's profitable, but it's not like I get to take home the profits,
Okay.
right? So again, so with the nonprofit setup, it's more community driven. It's more of a works base instead of me
Okay.
providing a service and getting a return. So again, like the nonprofit space, we can add additional programs into our nonprofit. And it doesn't just have to be surrounded by the people we house. So, like prime example, I can add courses or classes for people that are even in the community. It doesn't have to just be structured towards the people that I'm housing. So
Okay. Okay.
there's a lot of different avenues for nonprofits. We can provide a lot of different services in regards to works. They have to be works driven. So by that I mean like outreach programs, providing toiletry totes, getting the hygiene kits into the schools, financial literacy to young adults, or even teen moms. Like we can fashion a whole bunch of different programs that surround the nonprofit.
Okay.
And then again, like income, I can get income from to many sources, right? Donors that are able to now get a tax receipt from me at the end of the year that says, hey, I've donated X amount of hundreds of thousands of dollars into the Angela Denise Foundation. They get a tax receipt at the end of the year. They file their taxes, and that's a charitable contribution. The other thing is I can do fundraisers, right? I can do silent auctions. I can do all sorts of stuff to help bring in money to fund these programs.
Okay.
I can also, everybody wants to know about grants. I can also apply for grants.
Everybody's
And
screaming grants, grants, grants.
grants,
Please
but
talk
you
about
don't
that.
understand how it's very competitive. You have to be very detailed in your story and your ask for partnership. So again, like grants are a huge, huge, huge things that I think a lot of people go into the nonprofit space with the mindset of, oh, I'm going to land grants. I'm going to land grants. I'm going to land grants. And someone, a very wise woman, told me, if you live by the grant, you die by the grant.
Wow.
A grant will only sustain you based on how frequently you obtain them and how quickly they pay out. So you want to be mindful of that, right? You have to have other sources of income. So for the Angela Denise Foundation, the other source of income for my nonprofit is the housing segment of that, or the housing program, which is the ILF. So I know that was a lot of information. If you want to learn more about that, what I'll do is we'll sit down, Derek, one day and do a day that is just ask nonprofit questions, and we'll dive in. So
Shay, I got a question from
yes.
JC, and obviously I would usually jump in and just answer this right away, but since you're already kind of on a roll
Yeah.
and we're talking about nonprofit, JC's asking, where do you get your residents from? Because I'm also going to
Wow,
answer it, but I want to
love
hear
it.
it from you
Yeah.
first.
So for me, but okay, so here's the thing with the nonprofit, you can actually be registered on specific lists that for profits cannot be registered on, right? And those are like your, what is it, 211 or something like that, one of those 11s. And forgive me, but it's like different lists that you can be listed on as a nonprofit that for profits do not get the privy to be on. So I get those incoming calls. I get calls from all sorts of other organizations around, at like our whole state,
Hmm.
literally. And because I'm a part of, other organizations like the COC and the homeless service network and stuff like that, they actually have my information as well. So I get phone calls from other organizations, hospitals, case managers, mental health facilities, doctors' offices, rehabilitation facilities, drug rehabs, ALFs. Let's see. The typical group home may have a resident that is just more high functioning and more suited for independent living. Geez, there it's endless. Family, we have families that reach out to us and say,
Yeah,
hey, I've got a family member that needs housing, and we really need help. So I get a lot of phone calls from all sorts of places,
good
all
stuff.
sorts of places.
So I want to know from JC. JC, are you still here and are you hearing this? Because I love to address people when they actually ask the question. So I'm going to address JC as well.
Yeah.
But right before I address JC, I want you to comment on what Janine just said.
Oh.
Read that out loud and just what's your thoughts on
It
what
says,
Janine
I've
said?
never heard anyone break down nonprofit workings the way Shay does. Thank you, sis. Thank you so much. What is my take on that? My take on that is that a lot of people make the nonprofit sector, or make the day-to-day of a nonprofit so seems so easy and so luxurious and just easy money, quick money. Let's get in and grant is free money. And what people don't take the time to do is they don't rightly articulate or rightly uh, introduce people to the nonprofit space. And then there are nonprofits that don't survive the first 5 years,
Mm,
right? And for those of you that don't know, a nonprofits, not tax exemption, but some of their tax certificate statuses are 5 years long, 5 years expire in 5 years. So you have to now go back and reapply. So what does that look like? If you've not been taught adequately or appropriately how to structure and function your nonprofit organization, you can lose, excuse me, very important aspects to your 501c3. And honestly, I was more afraid of losing benefits, and I think that's what caused me to get more educated on the true workings of my nonprofit organization, and also being attached to other nonprofit organizations, seeing how they function, seeing how they, distribute and allocate their funds. What does their accountant type look like? And then again, for me, having an accountant that has worked in all facets of business, including the nonprofit space, is phenomenal, because she also helps keep me on my toes with that.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. And Shay, apparently people love it when you go to this nonprofit. So notice even when I ask you a question, I just let you keep going.
I'm telling you, it's
So
just
most of y'all
crazy.
that know us, because you new folks, you guys, I run my big mouth so much, right? And sometimes Shay's like, okay, I'm ready to jump in, y'all. But
I
when
pay
it's
to give
about
double
nonprofit,
dutch.
guys, I'm like this. Because oftentimes I'm also learning as I'm getting chill bumps even saying it. Because like Janine said, Shay is really good at this. But just like anything else, in the
Yeah,
beginning, Shay didn't know what she was doing,
I
y'all.
didn't.
You don't wake up just knowing this stuff,
You
but
don't.
the
You don't.
longer you're in it. So I encourage everybody, even at this point, with
Yeah.
all of this being said, guys, this YouTube channel is great. Our information on Facebook and TikTok and LinkedIn is great. But guys, there is nothing like when you actually get into it. So I'm encourage you guys to jump off the porch, as a lot of people say where I'm from, and not just sit on the sideline, right, and get into it. You're looking at two people that are really good at what they do. And I'm not just saying that to be bragging on us, but first of all, God is all over this. That's number one. Number two, I used to be the social worker for many years, right?
Yeah.
So we saw both sides of it. And now today, we now do this together. We don't just
Correct.
talk about it, we
Yeah.
teach it, but we also have these ILFs. So don't get fooled by people that are trying to teach you this, but they don't actually do it.
Yeah.
They just talk about it. Shay not only talks nonprofit, she has
I,
one,
I do
right?
it.
Bought a property, fully rehabbed it, moved the women in
Yep.
it, and right now going through a cash
So,
out refi.
but check this,
So
Derek. Let me show you
that's a
how.
whole nother game that we'll get on
Let
too.
me show you how powerful having a nonprofit organization is, right? And actually articulating and making sure that word gets out. Like, prime example, I got a phone call that didn't come through me to me.
Mm-hmm.
It came through your mom, right? Someone has listen, guys, I just told Derek the other day, And my washer and dryer at my lady's house, I put in a work order, all sorts of stuff. The people can't get there for another 2 weeks. And I was just like, Lord, I just need to get a new washer and dryer. Lo and behold, Derek's mom has a conversation with him because I'm in another meeting. And she's like, somebody has a washer and dryer, brand new, never been used. The reason why the washer and dryer has never been used is because it's too deep. The individual who owns the washer and dryer cannot get into the washer and dryer to get the items out. So look at that. The word supersedes you, right?
Yeah.
When you're doing good works, people are going to gravitate to your nonprofit. And again, the give is always there, but people have to see that you're really functioning in the manner in which you're saying so, right? People are going to trust, but they're going to verify.
Yeah.
And people are asking a lot of questions like, Shay, do you consult? Yes, I consult on business as a whole, but when it comes to the nonprofit, I do. But I definitely I take it very serious, and I monitor and really pick and choose who I consult when it comes to the nonprofit space. Because what I don't want to do is, like, I'm going to do things like oversee your, I want to seat on your board. I want to see what your board's doing. I want to see how you're actually directing your board. I want to see that you have a fully functioning board. I want to make sure that your board is not just a number of your friends and family. So I'm very strict when it comes to the nonprofit, because there's a lot of people out there that do nonprofit coaching, and it's very loosey goosey, and I don't like that, right? So I'm all about teaching it with all integrity. So yes, I do coaching for nonprofits, but then back to what I was saying about the washer and dryer. Thank God, I just got to get a truck and go pick up my washer and dryer and a fridge.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
see, nonprofits is always a
Yeah,
benefit.
Shay's privy to certain things, guys, that I'm not.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of you guys saw Shay about, I'll say 3 or 4 weeks ago, posting and posing with this big, huge $10,000 check. Guys, I'm
The
not
Publishers
privy
Clearinghouse
to that
check.
kind of stuff. And I'm gonna repeat that one more time in case you missed it. Yes, I said Shay was posted and posing with a $10,000 check that was taller than she was. So if you didn't see it, make sure you follow the Angela Denise Foundation on Instagram and Facebook, and go look at that grant that was awarded to
not
Shay,
only
that her virtual assistant actually got for her, not Shay.
Correct. Not only that, guys, become a partner, right? If this is something you're interested in and you want to see, like, just partner with us. Funds that come into the Angela Denise Foundation right now are geared towards what we're calling the toiletry tote program and the hygiene kit for school kids. So the goal is to make sure that the schools have enough sanitary items for young women that, you know, are entering into young womanhood. So we're trying to make sure that, you know, Title I schools have access to all of these products so that they're not having to go into the teacher's wallet to get these things done. Lord forbid if somebody has an oopsie or an accident while at school. So that's what we're doing at the Angela Denise Foundation. You can become a partner by visiting our website, angeladenisefoundation.org. Or you can also follow us on all of our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And like I said, become a donor. Check out the information and the content. I don't do a lot of live walkthroughs at my facilities right now because of my population type. And because they're very sweet ladies, but they're, you know, a little bit more everybody that moves in. And I'm gonna give a gem real quick. When I have individuals that move into my homes,
take notes.
When I have women that move into my homes, I always, depending on the population type, have them sign a photography and videography release. Because we are a nonprofit and their image and likeness can be used. So a lot of times people see me and Anita. I have a release with Anita, right? Anita wants to be in front of the camera, and her, you know, anytime she gets the opportunity
beg us to be on camera all the time, actually. Whereas some of our, now, very few of my clients are shy, but most of my clients, y'all, they beg to be on our YouTube channel, our Facebook, our Instagram. A lot of our clients know what we do. We don't hide it. And like Shay just told you guys, and that was a major gem. How was Shay able to use her client and take all of these pictures and do it the right way, legally, not getting in any trouble?
Yeah.
She's got a release. And not only does Anita want to be on camera, but Shay also has the proper paperwork to be able to share that stuff. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody, because the last thing you want to happen, and this is probably a gem too, is for one of those family members of that person to kind of get upset that you have them on camera.
Correct.
But if
Absolutely.
there's an understanding that, hey, this is what we do,
Yeah.
and she's begging me to be on camera and it's helping everybody, no problem. Okay. So Shay, back on you for anything that you want to drop. And
Let's
then I want to
see.
go back over to JC so that he can just hear that, JC, there's really no difference between Shay and I in terms of how do we get our
So,
clients
okay.
or where they come from.
Yeah.
So for me, social workers and case managers, and that can be from a regular hospital or a mental health hospital. We also get people from substance abuse units. We also get people from word of mouth. I'll be honest, here lately, a lot of my clients been coming from my flyers that I put at Walmart,
The
Publix, the
gym.
gas station, the gym, throw them on the floor in parking lots, put them in the windshields of everybody at the
Yeah.
hospital. Like, we get really creative, and Shay calls that guerrilla marketing when you get really aggressive with it.
It drives me nuts.
That drives Shay crazy, but I'll hop out the car in a minute, y'all, and I'll put like the flyers in people's
Yeah.
windshields. I'm that annoying guy. I'm also
He's
the
that guy.
guy that'll go and get car magnets. This has been a big
Yes.
gem for a lot of people. Go to Etsy. I should have a link for it, but I
You
don't.
should.
Go to Etsy, but I do use oh, they're gonna kill me because I use, what is it, UZ printing or something. Anyway, I'll put a link in the chat. We just got these car magnets for a different business.
Yeah.
And imagine riding around all day long and people are seeing what you offer, especially if you add a QR code to it. So I don't care if you bake chocolate chip cookies or you fry chicken.
Yeah.
Whatever the business is, think about the car magnet. But where you get really creative at, guys, is when you buy these car magnets for other people that also drive a lot or maybe park somewhere where a lot of traffic is passing by.
Exactly.
Those $40 car magnets, guys, can bring y'all a lot of business. I don't care if you're housing people. Again, if you frying chicken and setting it out your window of your house, or you bake chocolate chip cookies, guys, invest in those car magnets. Shay,
Yes.
back on you.
So JC asked another question, and it was like, how do you, he says, Shay, do you have any recommendations for
Ooh, that's a
choosing your
great
board
question. I
members?
love that.
Absolutely, I do. So for one, I think it's great to, depending on the realm that, or the niche or the market that you're working in, I would look at some of your executives, right? Prime example for me, I work very close with surgeons and doctors. So I have a surgeon on my board. I also have an accountant on my board. I have case managers on my board. So you've just got to really narrow it down. I think the more you are geared or set with a community of people that are not influential, yes, influential to a certain extent, but also have business acumen. I think that's the greatest route to go.
And who are you surrounded already that may have this instead of having to go out and seek it? Look in your cell phone and your surroundings. Like, who's surrounded by you now that may upper echelon? Not just your cousin,
right?
Not just your homeboy that you played football with in high school.
Correct.
Right? These are like, Shay, name some of the kind of echelon of people that are on your board.
I told you, a surgeon, an accountant, a case manager, someone that is, again, an entrepreneur, that is very big in real estate. So I've got a lot of different people that, kind of fit the mold of what we're doing, right? And not only do I just ask anybody, they have to be mindful of the vision, right? They've got to be able to go out there and speak about the Angela Denise Foundation just as I do. I want them to be able to, if they're in a certain atmosphere or in a certain area and somebody's talking about homelessness, I want them, the first thing that comes out of their mouth to be the Angela Denise Foundation. And hey, I sit on this board. So you want someone that's going to have just as much buy-in to what you're doing as you do. Boards are literally, a nonprofit's board of directors is specific for fundraising. Their main point is to help keep things in alignment with the goals of the organization, making sure that everything is operating the way it needs to be. But ultimately, you want them to be able to solicit funds. You want them to be able to come up with ideas to help you solicit more funds, because nonprofits,
not just hang around,
right? Not just hang around, be like, yeah, I'm a member of the board.
What do you bring into the
what do you bring to the table, right? So like right now, my board this year, my board has been I haven't pulled them into a lot of things because we've been so focused on getting the house up and running, kind of making sure that everything's, running smooth and operational. But I'm gonna tell you this, closer to, right now, I'm in the planning stages of
What you be?
Thanksgiving. Yeah, I'm in the planning stages of Thanksgiving. I'm in the planning
Yeah,
stages of Christmas.
yeah,
I'm in the planning stages of all the upcoming holidays, and my board will start to get ignited
yeah.
very very soon. So prime example, they'll be making some cold calls, they'll be asking some questions, they'll be looking at other opportunities for sponsorship, whether it's going to Publix and saying, hey, I'm a board member with this organization, we're looking for doing, we're looking at doing a turkey drive. Are you able to allocate X amount of turkeys? So again, it's a whole bunch of things that we're getting ready to start ramping up and doing. And that's how you want to make sure you choose the right board members that aren't afraid to guerrilla market.
Absolutely. And again, back to JC, one of my favorite ways also to receive clients is through HRAs. So if you have no clue what an HRA is, definitely watch our free webinar on that. And again, you get that by just texting in more info to the phone number 407-326-0086. But the HRA stands for Housing Referral Agency. That means that somebody else took a phone call, interviewed the client, and then they called me with the referral.
Yep.
I took the client and now I owe that person a referral fee. So if Angela Brooks is on this call, just raise your hand to me. Angela, put a thumbs up in the chat or just wave your hands because I want everybody to know who you are and how this HRA works. Angela has her own program, y'all, that's called the Clarissa Project.
Yep.
Angela did what we taught her to do in that free webinar, which is build relationships with social workers and case managers to get your phone ringing. Angela called me because maybe she's got a waiting list. I don't know. But she said, Derek, I got this great guy. He about 63 years old. He's an ex-computer engineer. He want a private room, Derek. He don't want to share no room. Derek, will you interview him? And if he's good, Derek, let me know.
Yeah.
Long story short, first of all, I didn't interview him. My virtual assistant did. And we'll talk about that, how we use VAs, virtual assistants, to help us in this business. Because, guys, with our coaching plans, we give you a virtual assistant complimentary. But anyway, Angela sent that referral over, and there's Angela Brooks, y'all. Angela, tell the people in the chat who you are, what you do, and what's the name of your program.
And next
Angela
week,
sent me, Angela sent me, and please bring that up. Angela sent me a gentleman, y'all. She kept somebody from being homeless. She took somebody from homeless to hopeful, and she didn't even have to house the guy herself. She called me. So at Second Chance Housing, we moved the guy in. He's now in a private room. He's got a computer desk with 3 computers. Y'all, he loves computers and building programs.
Why I didn't know about this guy?
Shay, he in a private, ask Angela.
What
private room, 3 computers, and hired one of my guys doing paperwork and doing something in the room together.
Stop it.
I love it. So, guys, that's my other way to get clients is from housing referral agencies, which I teach y'all how to be. You guys can literally build relationships with social workers, case managers, and hospitals, and you don't need a house.
You don't.
You need relationship with people like me or anybody that has a house, anybody in your city. And when you call them, you're like Angela called us and said, Derek, I got another one. Well, let's check him out. He passed our assessment. We moved the guy in. No different from the guy that she's also sending me. And I'm going to be real respectful and real tender about this. But the guy's got cancer. I want to help this guy.
Absolutely, yeah.
Finna be discharged, I think, on Tuesday. Don't really got all the money right now. We'll talk about that in my coaching. But I'm still getting ready to move this guy in. The devil is a liar if he's going to have cancer on my watch and not have a place to live. And got a guaranteed income. He just so happened not to get into the third, y'all. But my coaching teaches you how to do all of that, and do you trust that? And I'm not here today to talk about it. I'm just telling you guys about how Angela Brooks literally, and I hope she's typing her info in the chat, called me with a referral. The guy moves in, pays me rent.
Yep.
Now, since he wants a private room, that's $960 at Second Chance Housing. And I Zelled Angela her referral fee, which was $300.
Angela,
I
can I
Zell
get some
Angela.
money?
I Zell Angela so fast, I forgot to tell everybody that I did it live on YouTube.
Hey, Angela, can I get some money? Can I?
Angela, tell the
Let me
people how I
borrow some.
Zelled you live on YouTube, but forgot to say it out loud. I'll Zell you so fast, it'll scare you if you send me somebody. And watch this. The HRA, guys, is so great. The HRA works in all 50 states, no matter where you live at.
Yeah.
So you can make a referral to somebody that lives in Arkansas and you live in Iowa. You can live in Gary, Indiana, and make a referral over to somebody in California. So again, if you haven't seen our HOA webinar or the original ILF webinar, they come together in one text message. And all you got to do is text the phrase more info to 407-326-0086. One more time. Don't type no other words than more info, MOREINFO, to the phone number 407-326-0086. We'll give you both of those webinars. Once you finish watching it, my team gonna send you an invite to book a call with Shay and I. And now we're gonna talk about how we can get you started in terms of where you live at. We're gonna get a quick word from David and Dennis, and we're gonna be right back.
So Dennis, in this independent living facility model, right, which y'all call ILFs, what kind of residents can I house in this kind of model? David, that's a great question. And that's actually what makes the ILF model so great, is because it's flexible. So prime example, you can house military veterans, elderly adults, women that are escaping domestic violence, and the list goes on and on and on. So Dennis, where do you get your residents from? I see you guys on TikTok and Facebook, you guys getting all of these houses. Like, where in the world are you getting these people from? Yeah, that's actually pretty easy. Forster Consultants teaches us to use social media such as Instagram, Facebook to let people know who we are, what we do, but probably most importantly, who do we serve? And we do that very consistently. So every day, 7 days a week, there's something being posted about what we do and who we serve, but also building relationships with social workers and case managers. Again, letting them know who we are, what we do, and most importantly with them, that we're available.
Dennis, how in the world are you able to do this without a license, bro?
David, remember the reason why we don't need a license, because remember, the clients that we serve, they're independent. So that means that they can take their own medications, they can provide their own transportation, and they can cook and provide their own food. Dennis, man, you seem to know a lot about this independent living stuff, man. How do you know so much? Well, first of all, I graduated from Forster Consultants University, and I have a master's degree in independent living facilities. And I join the Forster crew every Monday on YouTube at 6 p.m. Eastern. They go live, and that guy Derek, man, he give the game away. So I'm always there. So Dennis, what in the world are the requirements to get started with something like this? The only requirement for this, David, is a big heart for God, his people, and the love for real estate. That's it. And bro, don't think I ain't listening, because I am listening. But where can I find more information like this at, man? Because I really want to get started, man. David, if I were you, I'd follow Derek Forston on Facebook and TikTok, and then I'd follow Forston Consultants on everything else in terms of Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube. Again, really slowly, David, because you're hard-headed. I'd follow Derek Forston at Facebook on his personal page. I'd follow him on TikTok, but I will also follow Forston Consultants on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Don't forget, David. Hey, Dennis, man, I really appreciate that, man. I'm going to do exactly what you told me to do. I'm going to follow Forster Consultants on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. No problem.
All right, so let's jump back into it. I've been promising you guys about 6 different points that we're going to talk about. Shay and I'll probably go a little bit back and forth about it. And again, don't forget, guys, we love your questions. And thank you to everybody that's texting that phrase, more info. Don't watch it now because I want you to stay here. But when we're done, go and watch that original webinar for everybody that texts more info. And as soon as you watch it, guys, after it's done, my team is so good. They can see the analytics of where you watched and how much. They're going to send you a link to book a call, and they're going to put you guys on my calendar. Now, my team did tell me next week, I think they clear my whole calendar because they got me doing something else, but we'll work that out. You guys just do that part to get on the phone with us because we want to get you started. So let's jump into the 6 things that I want to share today, right? So these are some of the main reasons why we believe that the ILF model is the right now model and why you should get into it. First of all, we believe it's one of the best real estate strategies because it involves real estate, social services, and the love of God.
Yeah.
We always tell people that imagine doing God's will, being respected by your community, and helping mankind and being paid for it. That's what this ILF model is about, and that's what shared housing is. And ultimately, I'm going to explain it like this. Low barrier to entry, but high impact. Meaning that if you try to start a group home or an ALF or any of these other housing programs, guys, most of the time you got to own the property, first of all, so you got to buy the place.
Yeah.
Renting or leasing these properties, guys, is one of the biggest game changers for me ever. I posted the other day on TikTok and Instagram, and I'm going to kind of say it went viral on Instagram, where I spoke for about 2 minutes how I just couldn't believe how this thing changed my life and how it's involved in what God says that we're to be doing anyway. So I'm no pastor, I'm no priest, and I'm no bishop. But in the Bible, it says the poor and needy will always be among us. And just so happens, guys, that we're doing God's will through real estate because we're caring for the poor, the needy, and the widow. And again, how cool is that you can do this through real estate? So again, low barrier, meaning that I can lease or rent the place. But guys, it's got a high impact.
Yeah.
We give you guys stories all the time about the lives that we changed from homeless to hopeful. And about 2 months ago, I almost broke down crying on y'all on this live, telling y'all about my other guy that's got cancer. But as soon as we moved him in 3 months later, he goes to the doctor. The doctor says, whoa, your cancer's gone. What happened to you? Guys, I'm not God. I didn't heal that guy.
No.
But I truly believe that God partnered with us to house this guy to heal him of cancer. He was living in the woods, Shay.
Let me stop.
So when we got the call,
and
he was living in the woods.
Yep, I want to
stop
because I want because again we talk about impact, right? Low, what was it? Low entry barrier, low barrier of entry, but a high impact. Yeah. So listen to what you just said. What people don't realize is that yes, God used you as a conduit through this process, but think about what else happened in that house. You had the right people. If you think about it, he was fully nourished to able to sustain himself to go through the process of his treatment because you surrounded him with a brotherhood.
Yeah.
Think about all of the residents in that house besides that particular resident.
Because they knew about it. Yeah.
When they found out that this is what's going on, you've got one guy that used to be a chef, full-time chef, worked for many resorts locally.
He cooks for him all the time. Still does actually.
He had meals every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Think about the ones that got access to other resources to make sure that there were provisions within the house. Like there were so many shared responsibilities that he would not have had in the woods.
Yep.
Right. And that's why I wanted you to stop there, because I don't want you to just glaze past, yes, ultimately the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords healed this gentleman. Right. To this day, he is walking in the total restoration of what God has done. What we do want to look at is how God partnered with man in the process. You said yes to the housing. Now your fella said yes to building the bridges of brotherhood. And now look, he's got people that are there supporting him when he's not feeling well, when he wasn't feeling well through chemo and radiation and everything that he was going through. He's got someone that's helping him, navigate in regards to the case management team that's now supporting him. And again, ultimately, when you set up a community, right? And this is a one house community pretty much that was able to help facilitate change and lower stress, lower anxiety, but really help support physically, mentally, emotionally someone that was going through. Can you imagine how much difference that made in the process of being made whole?
Absolutely. So again, guys, and I concur with everything Shay said. And just again, as I just put in the chat, right? Who wants to partner with God? Who wants to really be a part of what you're saying, that you want to change the lives of people and you want to help? Guys, some of y'all thought you had to have your own church to make an impact in your community. Yeah. Guys, this is ministry. And again, how can you lose in life when you're doing what the word says?
Yeah.
Miss Simi, me and you spoke the other day, right? And I look forward to speaking to you and your family again. But this is what you and I talked about: doing the will of God, helping people, being respected by your community. And again, man, I got nothing to do other than partnering with God, with this guy being healed from cancer.
Absolutely.
God is the ultimate healer, guys. I could have done that. But how proud are we at Second Chance Housing? that we took the phone call and that we agreed to move this guy
Yeah.
in. After living on the street, Shay, with throat cancer for the last 3 years, he moves in and in less than 90 days gets a cancer-free diagnosis. Can 3 of y'all put in the chat, glory be to God? Because I take no credit for any of this.
Yeah.
Because for my new people that don't know me, we live by this other thing that says, God, I decrease so that you can increase in
Come
me.
on.
And we take no credit whatsoever for all of this goodness that God is doing. We like to word it like this: God, make us a good steward over what you've given us. God, be the CEO of this business, Second Chance Housing, but allow me and my family to run it.
Yeah.
And that's my prayer for every one of y'all, that before you even get the keys to your first facility, you need to dedicate that place to God. God, I dedicate this house to you now before I move in anybody.
Come on.
All of my people over these last few weeks that's been getting your first house, before you move anybody in that place, Miss Teal, and me and you spoke yesterday, brand new place, ready to go. But Teal, you need to walk through that place and say, God, I thank you for this opportunity.
Anoint every
Anoint that
bed.
place with oil and say, God, allow me to be the hands and feet of Jesus and to change the lives of these people through this piece of real estate. And God, I take no credit. I give you all the credit, all the glory, and all the honor for everybody that we'll run into that need this help.
Absolutely.
That go for Nicole. That go for Tiffany. That go for the Pierre family. A bunch. That go for
a lot
Katara.
of people got houses.
A lot
this
of
month.
y'all. I'll admit, if I had a Guinness World Record inside of Forster Consultants,
this will be the month.
Is the month that the